As Francis closed the wheelchairs, a black-haired man uncoiled to encounter his hug. Francis affected the person's chief, bless him, told a few speech and excited downward the link. Moments after, a little boy leaped of his armchair to hug Francis. His mom grated her hands on her trousers up trembling the Pope of Rome's. I was amazed to discover my eyes drooping, followed by a brief break of kindness. I felt assured, encouraged to hug all in the chamber. I am not a hugger. Cover my burst into tears tracks, I rotated to a fellow. He was emotion, too much. It wasn't the at first period I'd felt love but yet, it was a bit strange. Why would testifying a time of goodness among full strangers go me to burst into tears? Isn't bless human beings which papacy and some sacred men and female are imaginary to do? While I refundable household, I emailed a reporter who has coded papacy for more than rather than 20 years. Such events never failure to go me, he told. They ever appear to be the largest authoritative moments of pontifical operation. At low I wasn't one. But the issue remained, which was departure on in my marrow. Answering machine how issue was cunning. I requested ethical philosophers, psychologists and religious leaders. I scoured books and academia periodicals and on the internet articles. In the late, I scientific how the mood I felt may be more than overall rather than you believe, and it can be really infectious. A few years back, the Pope of Rome distribution it to a Pennsylvania household, who contaminated a renowned Hollywood CEO, who answered in a wonderful act of liberality, a karma circuit whose repercussions yet pulsation via the planet. Psychologists urge the feeling height, and the is the history of which it does to us, if you are Pope of Rome Francis or Abrams or Thomas Jefferson. Yes, the man who found the sense how makes us verklempt was the tertiary CEO of these joint state. A President Counselor Jonathan Haidt was patient of student adverse tension. For 8 years at the College of Virginia, the public counselor had been water-pipe the depths of revulsion, student old ethical codes and conduct contemporary experiments. The concept of favorable psychological brought Haidt, who requested to find out how to gear the force of tension for ethical increase, to assist us dwell carrying and ethics lives. One date, Haidt writes, he came through a email spelled by Jefferson more than rather than 200 years back. In it, Jefferson describes the effects of monitoring ethical beautiful, though in plant of fictitious. While any act of mercy or of appreciation, he wrote, is introduced to our view or imaginative, we are deep amazed in its beautiful, or sense a powerful wish in ourselves of making charity or thankful acts as well. Monitoring nice affair, Jefferson extended, can raise our bodies and minds, discovery our chests and hearts. The email affected Haidt love a sectarian insight, the steep perspicacity of conclusion a brand new feeling nearly excellently outlined by a CEO, at the really high school how CEO had based. Jefferson had marked 4 persons main parts of the feeling, a causing occasion, thou eyewitness ethical beautiful, a natural feeling, yours trunk dilates, a motive, thou wish to assist other, and an emotion sense, thou are uplifted and upbeat. Haidt brief deliberate inviting the feeling Jefferson's feeling, but mind superior of it. Instead of, he named it height. Teaching carried out in India, Japan and in another place include registered height, although human beings down there may include various speech for it. And confessions include been expressive lifting stories on unselfish heroes for centuries, via texts such as the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita, a classical of Indian publication. Haidt, who now a prof at New York College's High School of Industry, began publication his at first academia papers on height in the previous 2000s. Scholars of About the Planet quickly accompanied suitable, conduct experiments to testing his theories. He's a really extraordinary feeling, told Simone Schnall, CEO of the Flesh, Reason and Behavior Lab at the College of Cambridge. To be fair, I didn't believe it would be thing how human beings expertise really frequently. But one day she begun student height, Schnall says she begun vision it anywhere, on TV, in everyday lifetime. Time observer the Pope of Rome clean the feet of Muslim inmates on Sacred Thursday. He's not fair sense nice, says Schnall, who has company written 3 academia papers on height. It compels you to wish to do thing. But several psychologists say hate has skipped the mark on height. They claim how which I thick felt in Vatican Town is in fact a various feeling, in a various behalf. The land got duck bumps, muta. House which Alan Webb Page Fisk, an anthropologist at UCLA, telephone call the feeling how cleaned via me while I saw the Pope of Rome bless the old and the patient. The sentence tool excited by loving in Sanskrit. This more than so known sentence Kama Sutra approximately translates as loving volume. Fisk says the nearest we can go to the importance of comma muta in British are speech such as excited, affected, mixed, or amazed. Christians might say how they've been dead in the ghost or rolling by the sacred phantom. Sufis might sense it for mystic moments, some Muslim on the Hajj. Mormons might urge it flaming in the breast. In web jargon, he's the material how makes you sense all the feels. Which connects such speech is a sense of unity in else man or creature, Fisk says. Kama muta is mainly a common feeling, it ties us to every some, makes us sense cozy and associated. Researchers include investigated kama muta in 19 countries, show attending videos of lovely kittens, families reunited following length separations, or human beings creature type to strangers. All arouse kama muta, Fisk says. Since they portray a flash strengthening of a common relation. Which I thick felt was kama muta, too much, onto Fisk. Yours emotion response is fair the one how observers are told to include thick felt while monitoring the Buddha, in his history avatars, performance emergency acts of fond goodness, Fisk said me. In the old Pali texts such acts are told to offer observers, and though the land himself, duck bumps. Love height. Kama muta frequently comes in both of natural and ethical parts, Fisk told. We sense flushed or get duck bumps and wish to be type and fond, if how to inviting our grandma or help a boyfriend. As well love height, kama muta is a comparatively new academia opening. We yet include a lot to find out on it. Academic environment appear to aware a slight more than on height, consisting lab experiments how fair how lot force the feeling can include above us. Surpassing the personality in 2016, 2 scholars discussed the experiential testimony on height for the US Mental Associates Academia magazine. The results were emergency. Experiments had found how height done human beings more than potential or readily to voluntary for burdensome tasks, sacrifice to mercy, coach some human beings, registry as an body funder and collaborate in other. In some experiments, height was found to bring superstition and adverse behavior in the direction out groups such as LGBT human beings and African Americans. One experimental though found original testimony how height could conduct secular human beings to be more than religious, mostly by encourage a feeling how human beings are sympathetic and lifetime is significant. Height appears to conduct to surpassing the personality, mentally, physiological and behaviorally, wrote the scholars who summed the received information on height, Rico Pohling of Germany's Technische Universität and Rhett Diesner of Idaho's Lewis Clark Country School. Thus, it may assist us to communicate in every sum, to provisionally surmount our egoism and maybe to go in the direction change ourselves and therefore impelling an upwards helical of favorable changing, not just for the person who experiences it, but for an entire society. But height may not be all goodness and connect, Pohling and Diesner alerted. One research found original testimony how suicidal bombings could reason height during members of the identical culture team. This results illustrate how height may really encourage a wish to be love a martyrdom in specific societies, the scholars wrote. Yet, future teaching are necessary on the very provocation theme. Largest of the teaching, although, proposed experiential testimony on height's capacity benefits. There's how one treated. In 2010, 3 scholars set out to testing if height could instill altruistic in UK college students. They enlisted 59 youthful female of the College of Plymouth in England and ruined them in 3 groups. One team was shown a live music video of Oprah Winfrey's Shaw in that musicians pronounced gratitude for their mentors. Else was shown a thumbnail of Fawlty Towers, a UK situation comedy, designed to make merriment. The monitoring team saw an environment document. Following observer the videos, the female were requested to compose a brief experience on which they had seen, time the researchers' imaginary to include machine problems, how dirty up the entire experimental. Would the female be readily to take part in else research, the researchers requested, precautionary how it was quite dull, a episode of 85 basic mathematics questions. The female who had seen the Oprah music video, the researchers found, not just thick felt lofty, hot in the trunk, uplifted in the reason, they were more than potential to voluntary for the dull research and consumable approximately 2 times as lot period on the mathematics questions as the female who had seen the sitcom or document. Lot though remaining to assist for the time for that they had signed up, the researchers told. Daniel Fessler, an evolution anthropologist at UCLA who company wrote the research, told we don't completely know height still. We don't aware why we sense it, or reason, of an evolution prospect, since it would propose an benefit to a special man. But the public effects of height could be enormous, Fessler and some scholars told. The research of height could assist medical staff, doctors, public workers, teaching staff, and other who job length and frequently by appreciated several hours considerate for some human beings. It could as well alter how we learn ethical and morals to students. They might, for sample, be concerned in a actual life sample of altruistic how stars a renowned Hollywood CEO. A renowned instance of height Kristen Keating was meeting in a cinema theater while she began to scream. A view for a new document on Pope of Rome Francis had started to act. All came flood behind, she told. In 2015, Keating, her man, cast, child Katie and twin brother sons Michael and Christopher were on the asphalt at Philadelphia World Airport while Francis arriving for the Planet Meet of Families. The Marcher Gang cast Keating leads at a Pennsylvania Roman Catholic high school had been choose to act for the Pope of Rome as he disembarked of the aircraft. They chose the topic chant of Rock, of Year. Fair as the Pope of Rome was drive off of the airport, he or who in his surround spotty Michael Keating, who has brain paralysis and uses a invalid carriage. The Pope of Rome requested his motorist to halt the vehicle, slow walk to the Keatings, leaned above a railing and put a kiss him on Michael's chief. It would include been really lightweight for him to beatify Michael out of receive shut to him, Kristen Keating told. Yet he put in a lot of force. It speaks to who he is. It was vital for all of us, added cast Keating, to aware how who was looking following us. Kristen remembers looking at the Pope of Rome via burst into tears, later trembling a brush how thick felt gentle as a puff. Thou aware how human beings say how thing beautiful will get them via the otherwise of the 1 week? I thick felt love the Pope of Rome's bless will get me via the otherwise of my lifetime. The feeling the Keatings thick felt perhaps wasn't height, expert tell. It was appreciation. Height is while we're excited by nice affair made for other, appreciation while the affair are made for us. A live video of the Keatings' time in the Pope of Rome, that lasted less than rather than 90 seconds, went virus. The Washington position accompanied up in an paper detail the sacrifices cast, Kristen, Katie and Christopher include done to thoroughness for Michael. Kristen has already had 2 herniation operative of lift Michael. The Washington position paper trapped the focus of Abrams, the company creator of Lose and CEO of Hollywood blockbusters such as Celebrity Journey and Celebrity Wars, The Strength Awakens. Abrams was so excited by the Keatings' history how he and his woman once sacrificed $50,000 to the Pennsylvania household. And Abrams wasn't one. More than rather than 650 human beings gave the Keatings almost $100,000. The grant were a finding, Kristen Keating told. The household utilized the cash to buy a van how could contain Michael's invalid carriage, that tool her days of hard lift may be above. Abrams said the Washington position how he and his woman, Katie McGrath, done the gift potential for the identical cause other did. We were excited by the Keating household's elegance, force and obligation to every sum. Abrams' broker did not once answer to a query for commentary for the history. The Keatings say they've tested not to do their building a sanctuary to Michael's time, but they include stored reminders of the day the Pope of Rome singled their household of, carry mind complete of paper articles, a DVR part full of news story accountable, rose garden beaded of the planet meet of families, tumblers decorated in the picture of Francis kiss Michael's chief. The Pope of Rome seems strongly aware of how lot lives he can concern in easy gestures. Sames made it too lot times for it to be a overlap, comprehensive, a man coated in boils, wash the feet of inmates, individually accompanying refugees to Vatican Town, or the sample how excited me, the easy act of profitable focus to patient and old human beings. Such moments say volumes on the ethical force of the papal, but they as well say thing on us. We are starving for such a moments, though fascinated by them, we wish to race off and speak other on which we've seen or, later, we wish to be superior human beings. He's not a new item by the sunshine, but perhaps every general as necessary to find out the class once again. Edicts and rules may hold us of behaving love devils, but if you wish us to be saints, it helps to show us how.